WMC Memphis, WMFS HD2 Bartlett, Memphis. Part of the Memphis Sports Network with 92.9 FM ESPN. ESPN 790 AM.
The views and opinions of the hosts or guests of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the management or staff of Intercom Memphis.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this June the 18th, Father's Day weekend. Frank Barton, this is the third Saturday. Frank's in on Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day, Frank.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, everybody, and happy Father's Day. A little early.
A little early, but you got your present picked out that you're going to get from your family.
A kind word is what I like.
A kind word. Well, we're going to give you lots of kind words today from the Barton Power Sports in West Memphis and Jonesboro. And I see that you've added something to the company.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, besides tractors and besides Kubotas and besides Polaris, but you've added another motorcycle.
Oh, you're talking about Indian.
The Indian, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be opening Indian of Memphis later this fall.
Wow. Okay. Now, will that be at your place, or
It'll be just down the street on Mount Moriah.
Oh, really?
Just down the street from where we are right now.
Okay. Well, he'll be able to stop by and ride it on over here then. So
probably so.
Probably so. Hey, we got a jam-packed show. Starting in Maine, ending in Reelfoot, and California's in between, because this is the show that Kim Rohde, who will be going for her 6th Olympics in Rio in shotgunning, and is always one of our favorite guests. So we're going to talk to Kim a little bit later in the show. But I got a good friend named Bob Epstein to talk to me about a lure company that I've heard about for years, Al's Goldfish out of Maine. And I know that when I looked at all the information about Al's Goldfish, I had to come across one of the famous names of outdoor entertainment, so to speak. Rio Breckenridge was our guy from here. That's the name, Frank, I was talking about from a long time ago. But Gadabout Gaddis was really the first man from the TV in the 50s that I watched and I learned about, and I knew Gadabout. Why did they call him Gadabout? Well, because his boss could never find him. He was out gadding about. But he helped kind of put a fishing lure on the map with his wonderful touch. He able to do it. And this company has been around 68 years, if I'm not mistaken. And we've got the guy on the show with us this morning that is now taking it over. He's the new owner of Al's Goldfish Lures, and that's Mike Lee. And Mike is out of about 13 miles from Portland, Maine. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I think you're not our first guest from Maine, but there hasn't been a whole lot of them. So, first of all, I know that you gave up a career to do this. I mean, you'd been in a different career for over 2 decades and decided that you wanted to keep this company going. Tell our listeners a little bit, because a lot of us have heard about Al's Goldfish Lures. Tell our listeners about the history of this and why you decided to do what you're doing.
Well, thanks. Yeah. So the Goldfish line is actually quite remarkable when you start to look at the history.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Gen Xer, and I really hadn't heard of the product.
Okay.
But when I started looking into it, I was amazed at how popular this product was for about 25 to 30 years. In large part to what you stated, it was one of the first fishing lures advertised on the first nationally syndicated fishing TV show, The Flying Fisherman with Gadabout Gaddis. The timing was impeccable for those two, Al Stewart, the namesake of the company, and Gadabout Gaddis to kind of meet, get together, and do some promotional marketing. The most interesting thing of their partnership was I find interesting was how they actually did the marketing. At the time, it was the early stages of TV. Mm-hmm. In Gaddis, there were no rating systems.
No,
so
I don't think so.
What they do is they sell products at cost during the commercials and figure out where people were buying it. They presume that's where people were watching the show.
Yeah.
Which in today's day and age, where everything's at your fingertips, it's quite a radical concept to think that the only way you could figure out who was paying attention to you was to try to sell them something, at a low price. And so I find that quite remarkable. But what that did was it led to a remarkable boom in attraction towards the Al's Goldfish line. And Al Stewart had he started in Springfield, Mass, out of the back of his sporting goods store. Wow. Back when there were local sporting goods stores. The Goldfish just exploded in large part because, Gaddis's help in marketing it. But second was, it was so effective.
It was,
Cool. Sorry, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, when you think about, I was 11 years old when Al's Goldfish started. I just started thinking about some of these things, in the 50s, and marketing was beyond even thinking about. But the main thing about this, and we're talking about, Field and Stream recognizes this one of the 50 greatest lures of all time. And so that's just, that blows my mind. And so here we have this ancient lure, so to speak, that still works, people. I can tell you that for a fact. And then here comes this young guy, Mike Lee, and transitions into this. So, Mike, you must have seen in this that, because most people don't like to make transitions after they've been doing something for a couple of decades into this. So tell me what swayed you, besides, I'm assuming, a love of fishing and a love of your area up there, but what made you do this?
Well, I worked for a multinational company for 20 years that was the definition of a job cutter and a job exporter. Yeah. Over time, you got to feed your family, right? But
yeah, that's right.
After a certain amount of time, it really gets to you, or it did to me. And I started looking for a business where I could actually build something here in the U.S., make it in the U.S., and try to do something about the local economy. And that search took me several years to find something. And by chance, I found Al's. And what drew me to Al's in particular was it used to be very big. It really shrunk down to almost a niche because of some difficulties after Al passed away in 1978. Yeah, they went from 1 million units a year of the Goldfish to almost complete obscurity. Yeah, and it had nothing to do with the effectiveness of the product. It had a lot to do with just understand, people, new ownership, knowing how to handle the changes in the market. And so I found this. I saw something that fit what I was looking for, and it happened to be that I loved to fish, so that was a bonus. That wasn't the starting point.
I hope so.
This is great, because me and my son are huge fishermen, and so I decided to, put my money where my mouth was and try to do something locally and bring this back. And I did it because once I understood about the product and how effective it is in that it really was a matter of introducing it to really two generations that hadn't heard of it. I thought there's a chance here to do something special, and do something made in America, for Americans. And that's what drew me to it. And that's how I landed where I am today. And doing, this conversation is about that, is trying to get the word out that it's back. It's high quality, highly effective. If you don't want to have one in your tackle box, you really ought to consider it. It's very, very effective product.
And not only just, and again, we're talking to Mike Lee, the owner of Al's Goldfish Lures, based out near Portland, Maine. But this thing is so effective. And so in January 2015, what you said, at the risk of my family's financial future, I took the plunge and purchased Al's. So, I mean, because this is the lure now. Everybody think goldfish. Now, we're not catching goldfish with this thing, okay? So, I mean, this thing is effective for trout. It's effective for walleye. It's effective for bass. Tell us a little bit about the product and how they can get more information and where they can purchase it and things like that. Because, folks, this thing works. It worked 60 years ago. It works now, even in our area. We're really close to some great trout fishing in Arkansas. So, and we're really close to Greers Ferry Lake for some great walleye fishing, believe it or not. So tell our listeners first how they found information about it and what's coming up for this year. Do we have new products? Are we keeping it basic? What is it?
Yeah, so thanks for that question. So first and foremost, we're working to expand distribution. We're getting into some of the big box retailers. It's a slow growth. We have to prove ourselves because a lot of the buyers are younger than me, so they've never heard of it. But every product we have can be bought on our website, which is alsgoldfish.com.
Yes.
We keep our shipping cheap because, we know people are trying to get our products and they can't find them at the local corner, store. So that's the easiest way to find everything that we offer. The main product is the Goldfish. That's the anchor product. And that product, something remarkable happened last year. When I first took it over, about 4 months in, I started looking at social media, Facebook, things like that.
Yeah.
I started asking customers, send us what you catch, right? I've heard all the legends of how effective it is, but I didn't have anything tangible in my hands showing it. Short of what I was able to go do. In 60 days, I had people sending me pictures catching crappie, sea trout, red drum, black drum, saltwater striped bass, freshwater striped bass, panfish, including perch, bullhead catfish, pickerel, trout, flounder, big black bass, smallmouth bass, and largemouth bass.
In 60 days?
Yeah. And effectively, about 85% of the sport fish sought after in the United States, this lure caught. I got pictures within about 60 days.
Wow!
It was astounding to me, and how universal it is. And since that time, we've taken to doing a few things that help us build that message and communicate why and how. And you can, if people do a little bit of search on YouTube now, they'll start seeing videos of the product underwater, the action that it generates. And it comes through the water like a silhouette of a swimming fish.
Yes, it does.
And it looks like a injured minnow, or just a lazy minnow kind of traveling through the water. And predators from below, they see that silhouette. Depending on the light conditions, you may get the flash of a gold, a nickel, a copper, or maybe the colors we use. And the strike rate is just, to me, has been quite amazing. And that's why it's so universal across so many species, is that it looks like what they eat. And in reality, the reason why it worked 60 years ago and it works now, fish haven't changed what they eat in a million years.
No, they are that. And I wish we had more time, Mike, but we're going to post this on my website, lroutdoors.com. It'll give you how to get to this lure and how to put it back. We're going to spread the word, and Mike, we'd love to talk to you maybe later in the year a little bit more and get an update, because I'm with you on this one. And when my good friend Bob Epstein said Al's Goldfish Lures, I just remember them, from back there. And folks, so go to alsgoldfish.com. It's that simple. Isn't that right, Mike?
That's right, and thank you so much, Larry. For
Hey,
your time.
buddy, have a great day in Maine, okay? And I know, what's the temperature today in Maine?
It is a balmy 65.
We don't use the word balmy down here. We're expecting 95 to 100 in Memphis. All right, Mike. Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you. Have a great day. All right. Let's take our first break on the morning. Frank Barton in studio. Greg Ratliff at the pushing all the buttons. We'll be right back.
You can find